Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Talking Town flagship podcast show. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov, and we are, well, somewhat later than we normally are on a Sunday. I do apologize, but when the wife says, Gov, we need a day today, you listen. You know, after 8 years of marriage and 12 years together, that when the words, we need a day together, you just take the advice. But welcome. We say 100% on the intro because this is the 100% place to be for Ipswich Town fans. It's a live, unfiltered fan forum where you can have your say, and we invite you to do so throughout the course of the evening. And of course, the only place you should ever be if you're a Town fan on YouTube. We are live 5, nearly 6 out of the 7 nights a week, bringing you the news, views, latest opinions, totally unfiltered. Before we go any further, please do hit that like button. If you've already subscribed, we thank you very much. But then go one step further and subscribe as well. So like the show. I hear tonight actually that every like is a hand gesture like this towards the referee from yesterday. Every like is a metaphor. That is another hand gesture, Cruncher. I'm not quite sure. At 7:45, we should be doing that one, but you know. Let's let the referee know how we felt. Every like is one towards him. Subscribe to the channel, of course, help us becoming bigger and better. And if you've already done both of those things, consider becoming a part of the Talking Town community. Become a YouTuber, YouTube member, or a fifth stander on Ko-Fi. Both are incredibly easy to set up. So easy, in fact, even I could do it, and I'm technically the worst, as we find out every Saturday at match days when it's not working, and I'm literally crawling over Matt to try and make a microphone work. That was an experience in itself, but we're here. And if you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review and be kind with your reviews to us condescending hosts. Catch up. Leave a comment, of course. Let us know you're watching on Catch Up. If you are watching us, let us know what you see, what you hear. And it's always good to hear from our fans that do, I say fans, our viewers that watch us on Catch Up. We've got Jerry from Down Under, and it was great to meet another fan yesterday. First game in over 20 years. He's from Australia, and he had the executive box. So I wonder what his view was of the decision or the goal, no goal situation. Right. A few comments. Philip Blundell, good evening. Jason, good evening. EJ, good evening. Good evening all yesterday. We were bloody well robbed, says EJ. Billy, your comments on the screen, my man. I do try and get all comments on the screen just to let everybody know. I try and talk through all the comments. And, you know, the live chat is a really important function for us here at Talking Town. We feed off it. I know I do. And I know the two contributors, whoever they may be, feed off those comments as well. But of course, you know, with hundreds watching, it's not always easy to get every single comment on the screen or discussed. If you do want to make sure it is discussed or on the screen, then a super chat will 99.9%, 100% time to do it. So do one of those. EJ Norris, the best thing that happened yesterday was what was done by both sets of fans on 10 minutes. Absolutely. I agree with that, Adrian. Ref was shit. But it's about what we do. We learn and we move on. Andy Barrell watching on iFollow, 300 miles away. That goal was good. The first time I saw it and the replays. I have yet to see any angle that convinces me otherwise, but we'll get into that in just a second. As I said a minute ago, we have a live chat. As you can see, get active. We need it. We thrive off it. Or there will be a link to come on your platform to have your say in your words in a totally unfiltered way. Whatever you want to talk about tonight, be it the referee, be it a more of an Emerson approach where it's more about us and not about the referee and what we've got to do to win the game. However it is, whatever it is, get involved, have your say. Right, let's get straight into the action as we did yesterday afternoon at 3 p.m. with the return of Hard Truth.
Somebody get the tables. Hard Truth are here, delivering the truth that nobody wants to hear. The Cruncher and the Media Mogul.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it. Good evening, my friends. The Driscoll brothers in the house. Lads, we've got to start. We really have got to start with the referee.
I'll stop at my Chinese that I just had.
Well, you both had Chineses.
You fucking forgot my sweet and sour sauce, Matt. We waited for 2 hours. It was busy on a Sunday night.
Was it?
We had chicken balls come. Where's the sweet and sour sauce? There's an email, strongly worded email from Suzanne that we put in tonight.
It may concern. We went into the restaurant, which is just up the way from us. We had. Do you want to know what we had? Crispy aromatic duck.
Oh, nice.
Shredded chili beef.
Yeah, I like that.
Sizzling chicken with peppers in black bean sauce.
Oh.
Seasonal vegetables.
Careful.
Lemon chicken. We added that one in. Egg fried rice.
Careful. I don't want you being full for tomorrow when the barbecue takes place.
I won't eat again now till Tuesday.
I had a roast. That's all I had. Just a roast.
Yeah, chicken.
I had roast beef. Roast beef. All the trimmings.
It's your go-to, isn't it?
Little country pub. It was rather nice. Not rather nice. The boy had a cheeseburger and chips, which he never eats. I'll make sure that goes down a treat.
Yeah, careful when you're on live at Sir Alf. Matt, don't get them camera angles. Just get them right when you got gov.
Yes, that's the first thing my wife said to me. Actually, was whoever does the camera, make sure they go above your stomach. And I was like, look, I know I'm a fat. I know I'm a fat. You know, a fat so and so. I'm happy with that. I'm going to share it with the rest.
You don't seem particularly obese to me, mine. I've got to say.
I didn't say obese. Now you're taking it to new levels. See, now you just defended me.
Was there a difference?
Well, there is in my mind, Matthew. All right. Thanks sake, man. I don't call. Anyway, right. Moving it on. Because you're starting to annoy me the same way the referee did now.
I was trying to be complimentary. You're not.
I know you are. I love you, really. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Right. Referee. Big decisions all wrong. Before I give you what McKenna said, I know you've probably read it already, but before I give you what he said about the referee, which is not normal for Big K-Mac, how did you see it, Matt? Richard was on the show yesterday for the post-game show. How did you see the referee yesterday and the big decisions that were right or wrong?
Oh, I knew it. I said to David, who sits next to me, this guy's going to be bloody useless as soon as the game started. You could just tell, couldn't you? You can always tell when a referee's like overly officious. There's no flow to the game. You know, you've got moves that last 10, 20 seconds. Then there's a free kick. He kept stopping and starting. And I know that McKenna did say he felt the same. There was no flow to the game. But then, because McKenna did blame the referee a little bit, didn't he, over the harness thing, right? I get that. And his officials. But the guy had done that, and he said there's pressure to referee, you know, in League One in front of 25,001. Maybe I was the one on a match day. But the guy had done like 150 games or something in Championship. So he actually fits the mould that McKenna wants to see taking charge of games at Portman Road. But yeah, absolutely. Like, I still don't know what was wrong with that harness goal. I mean, he clearly had a better view than what we did. And he said he pulled his shirt or whatever, but I don't know. Looked all right to me. What did you're on that side, mine. What did you think? Did you see him pull his shirt?
I didn't see any foul whatsoever. I'm yet to see any angle that gives me another one. Real time, I thought it was a beautiful move. Well capped off. Game was dead. And that's what substitutions, which I'm sure we'll speak about later on in the show, are meant to do. Come on, make an impact, win a game.
Yeah.
Robbed. And then when you look back at the replays, Rich, it's a goal you're going to see 99% of the time up and down the country throughout this season. A centre half and a centre forward battling, and the centre forward nips in and scores. And you're always going to say, terrible defending. But referee thinks he's pulled him back. How? Where? Why?
At the time, well, just going back to the start of the game, Matt, Connor Chaplin was fouled within the first minute over our side, probably just along from you, near the touchline, right in front of us. It's a definite foul. He gives a throw into Barnsley, and I thought, right, you've not started well here. Listen, you could tell it was all about him. He got his hair slicked back, Matt. He got the tan. There was a stage in that first half when there was an injury and he was in the penalty area, I think, of the North Stand there, Martin. And then he's literally gone sprinting back to the halfway line, as much to say, look at me, you know. So at the time, it wasn't a foul. I didn't need to see the replay. If anything, at the time, I thought Harness was the one who was fouled.
And I still agree with that.
You know? Should have been a penalty then.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, like you say, Martin, he wanted it more. Harness and the defender were going for the ball. He's wanted it more. He scored a perfectly good goal, and it's 3-1, and we're all delighted. You know, 2 goals in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're probably thinking 3 points, you know, staying top of the league. And then all of a sudden I don't know what he's seen. I don't know what he's seen, but it was just a lot of decisions the whole game. It was the Stephen Martin show. That's the ref it was.
It was, and obviously, not that decision, Matt, is a really important one because for me, 3-1, game's dead, rubber stamped it. Good night, Vienna. Doesn't happen, and then we'll get into what does happen. But you can fast forward to the first half where my £1 million plus left back is absolutely crunched for what should be a stonewall bloody penalty that in the end, by the way, folks, makes him have to go off in the second half because he can barely move his ankle. Will he miss game time? We don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was his knee, mine. I think to be fair to Luke
way, he weren't the right way up the moment he got off the turf, when he was planted in it by a Barnsley player, and he went off. He went off limping. He was limping for most of the game. He was receiving treatment.
Yeah.
My angle again for that one, Matt, was again, how have you not given that as a foul? How did you see that one from your nosebleed section?
Up in the cheap seats. Yeah, we was all up. Thought it was a pen. It was just inside. It was right on where the penalty area meets the byline, wasn't it? It was around there. And what he gave,
I'll give him a bit of leeway. The ref. None of the town players really appealed for that. There was no one surrounding the ref. Tom, who we had on the show yesterday, Matt, I know he's a Barnsley fan. He's probably going to be a bit biased. That was right in front of him, and he said it wasn't a penalty.
How often do we say as fans, though, we want players to not surround referees? We want to see that removed from the game. And then when we have a decision that's like contentious, we go, oh, well, the players didn't do anything. Like we can't have our cake and eat it. We want players to respect the authority, and the decision's been given, we get on with it. But it might be the right decision.
It's hard when the decision.
I thought it was a foul all day long.
Of them were wrong over the 90 minutes. It must be hard on when you're on that pitch. Look,
the fact it weren't given by him, to me, I think it backs my claim up. I'm confident in the amount he got wrong, Matt. To say,
oh yeah,
I think it's probably a foul.
Referees certainly seem to referee games differently down at our level, and they might, I don't know, Manchester City, for example, where the home team seems to get the rub of the green each time, don't they? If you saw that challenge yesterday at the Etihad, whatever, the City would probably get a penalty, but Ipswich goal kick, it's just a bit weird, isn't it? Because we are perceived as being one of the bigger, the biggest club in League One.
It's a little bit of truth in that, because McKenna did say, 25,000 people, you need a good standard referee, a special referee to come down and deal with the pressure. This is not Accrington and Stanley versus Gillingham. No disrespect to the two football clubs where you can hear the dog barking in the corner. This is Portman Road. This is 25,000. This is arguably two of the teams that are going to be bang up there come May. And we get what we get, Rick.
One of them.
But he's had good experience, this fella, at Championship, like we said earlier. He's done over 100 odd games, 150 games. So he fits the mould that McKenna was moaning about. They are the kind of referees we need. I don't
want to keep hearing our fans blaming the ref all the time. Stephen Parry on the Discord today, look, we can blame the ref all we want, and it was a goal, right?
Yeah.
And we're probably going to come on to the two goals that we give away. Do your job right from the corner, Martin. Defend that. We win the game 2-1, and we're still unhappy because it should have been a goal. But we win the game 2-1. But they do say, Matt, that they even themselves out over the season. So I'm not always sure on that.
No, me neither. Do they?
No. Yeah. But we just got to get on with it. And like Mike D says there, our defending was criminal. It was.
It was. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're absolutely going to be coming on to some of that absolute awful defending. But I asked you two boys in the WhatsApp, do you want to start the show of the referee or end the show of the referee? And you wanted to start with it. And I'm going to get some comments in a second, but I'm just trying to grab my comments I had from McKenna re the 25,000. I can't quite find them at the moment, but he did say, in front of a packed Portman Road, the referee needs to be of a level.
And he's unhappy because he doesn't hardly. That's the first time in about 31 games, Matt, that he's criticised an official. So,
this is it. That's what surprised me. He says this is what he said. I really do think they need to look at who is designated to referee the games here at Portman Road. I think it's a different challenge. It's 25,000 people. It's intense
right. What he says,
atmosphere.
He's refed 150 games in the Championship. This guy, so it's League One. The standard of refereeing is shit. We've seen it. The 3 and a bit seasons that we've been here. Just be better. Just be better. Don't blame the referee all the time.
See, I disagree because you can't have been better yesterday. Yesterday, you had 2 sloppy errors. You're a League One player, but you've had your moment of brilliance by the bloke you've paid money for,
True.
taken away by the man in the middle. The linesman's not flagging. The linesman's after the fucking pitch with the goal. He's gone. The referee suddenly decides.
I think McKenna was chippy yesterday because, as I said to you at full time, he made a mistake yesterday. Why did he leave Harness on the bench? Why? The guy is like our best performer, top scorer. You wouldn't see Liverpool leaving Salah on the bench, would you? Or Man City leaving Haaland on the bench.
They have left Salah on the bench. Klopp has left him on the bench for games.
Haaland. The guy has started off great for us. And Harness has shown he can not be, he can be quiet in a game and in a flash of brilliance, and it's 1-0. You saw it against Forest Green. You saw it against Burton. And lo and behold, he comes on yesterday and actually scores. So I think McKenna was chippy yesterday because he made a big mistake.
A little bit, Matt? Do you think a little bit? It's like the comments after the game towards the referee, as he used them a little bit to mask what people might not agree with me. For 75 minutes, I listened to Mick Mills this morning, and I agree with him. For 75 minutes, we didn't play well. We didn't play that well. I can't sit here and say that we absolutely battered them because, like Mick Mills said, we didn't have a corner, Matt, probably until the 80th minute. If you are absolutely bashing the door down, you're going to get a lot of corners, right? Last 15 minutes, I took as a real positive going forward to games that you're going to have against these teams where they come and park the bus. I thought for the last 15 minutes, we absolutely annihilated them. We knocked the door down. We just couldn't score, right? If that was a boxing match, he was on the ropes. He was going to go down, but we couldn't get that knockout blow. But the 75 minutes before it, I don't think we played that well. I honestly don't.
Well, I mean, look, we passed the ball really well. What was it, 598 passes? But for all of those passes, we didn't have, certainly in the first half, did we barely have a shot on goal? Like you said, we didn't have a corner until in the end we had 4 corners, didn't we? I think that was all in like the last quarter of an hour of the game. And it's this kind of like tiki-taka, they call it in Spain, don't they? But there's no end product to it. And that's what annoys me. It's great to watch the passing. Some of the passing is really risky. And you saw them give away the ball a little bit yesterday. You know, they're taking risky passes, which is a risk when you're against a team that's come to counter-attack, which is what Barnsley were doing. Suddenly they would suddenly have 5 up top because they had the banks of midfield and defender. Suddenly they would rush up and they had 5 up top, I counted at one point. But so it was a risky game. But I don't know, just for me, McKenna made a mistake yesterday. And Harness should have started. John Jules, look, he was good in the central position. They moved him out wide. Ladapo came in, and it didn't work, did it? It didn't work because we haven't won the game. So it didn't work.
It's hard to disagree with that in regards to Marcus Harness. I think I said as much as on the full-time show. I think it was probably one of McKenna's very few mistakes that he's made since he arrived from Man United at Portman Road. But it was a mistake all the same, Rich. Marcus Harness has been the most informed player we have had.
Yeah, I think throughout the season, I think he'll rotate them front three. I think he will. I think there'll be times when we probably don't agree with it. And yesterday, I didn't agree with it at all, Matt. And looking at Harry hindsight, as you say, you would have probably kept Ladapo, kept on Tyrese John Jules up the centre. Ladapo was poor yesterday. I thought, that was his poorest game. We're probably going to come on to him. But it's like Mike D says there in the chat about in that second half, that second goal we got when Morsey scored, Matt, that was against the run of play. Barnsley were the better team there. They had Christian Martin done a good save. They had a header wide from a corner. The other one when the guy's in on the right-hand side and Leif Davis done quite well and he's put it in the side netting when all their fans thought they'd scored.
They thought it was in, didn't they? Yeah.
You sometimes have to... Look, I know we want Town to win. We want Town to win, but sometimes you have to give the opposition credit. And he's come down here before last season, Duff. He took 4 points off Town last season when he was at Cheltenham. Yeah. They were hard to break down. And yesterday, you see, as soon as they lost that ball out of possession, sometimes they had nearly all 10 behind the ball. And they made it really hard for us. And the thing is about people can say about, look, listen, the time wasting, the referee. I get all that. But it's a game of football. And if I was playing, I would do anything I could within the rules and bending the rules to get a result. Because this is what we're in. We're playing professional football at the end of the day. It's not a tickling contest. No one's going to give you anything, right? So when we go 2-1 up and when we go 1-0 up, Martin, early on, we've literally given a goal away 3 or 4 minutes after that. They've not had to change how they played one little bit. We've handed them 2 goals on a plate. The first guy who scored is 5'9". The
Yeah.
second guy who scores, he's 5'6".
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is it. A few comments, and then we'll move. Some great comments you've brought up there. Style of play, Ladapo, TJJ, the goals themselves. Andy Barrow lost my strength like that was 1976. Ipswich West Ham semi-final FA Cup replay. Stamford Bridge. Turbotic, great to meet the goat in the fan zone for the first time. Max Fax from Down Under. If it evens itself up over the season, we are owed 3 now. Penalty against Shrewsbury and non-goal against Barnsley. David Miller, awful ref. Thought it was the main entertainment.
Can you just bring up Richard's?
I kind of want to get down to it. Yeah. Ben Moore, same mistakes as last year. It's seen. I think our defence needs leadership. Keogh maybe. Burgess needs to be played Saturday for me. Evans played his classic Hollywood pass all game. We've got Scrumpy Daniel, the only person alive who wants a Roman Reigns win at the Castle. Agrees with Cruncher.
Live. Are you going to be watching that live?
I want to say no.
I'll tell you what, it's improved a lot since Vince has gone there.
That's it.
In
That's
the short
it.
time. Yeah, good.
That's it.
Okay. But he's not the only person alive because I also want Roman Reigns to win because I think the bloodline are the best thing in the wrestling. I told my brother when Morty scored and said, "Oh, we don't deserve this. We weren't bad. We weren't bang at it as we've been at times this season." I'm trying to find Richard's comment, but I can't.
It'll be easier to play away from home, he says, in some of these, and I agree with him. We'll get more space away from home, Matt. It's like when MK come down. I was talking to Coxey, Barnsley, and Colin after the show yesterday. When MK come down to town, I weren't bothered. I knew we'd beat them, right? They come and if we're going to have a team come down to Portman Road and play us at football, 99 times out of 100, I'm confident that we'll win that game. It's when these teams come and they do the shithouse tactics, the wasting time. And I said it before. This is where this team. It will be found out over the season if we've improved on last season. I think yesterday, I can't sit here and say we run out of ideas because we didn't the last 15 minutes. It was like the Alamo, wasn't it? James Norwood was playing left back for them. They couldn't get out of their own half. Yeah. It was probably
they couldn't get out of their own half, Crunch, but it was so easy for them. It was all in front. The guy in front of me, I've got to say sorry to because I think he probably thinks the only words I know are faster. Faster. Because I wanted my players to have 2 touches. Touch, move, touch, move, touch, move. Because that's the only way you pull.
We've hit the post. We've had one off the line.
Oh, from a corner though, Rich. That's not from open play. That's from a corner. We've hit the post. That wasn't from open play. Open play-wise, it was all in front of Barnsley. It was left to right, back and forth. It was nothing that was going to really hurt the lines of Barnsley where you're pulling centre-halves out of position. You're pulling left-backs. Like James Nord, for example. You had Wes Burns one-on-one with James Nord. And I'm thinking, now knock it past him and say, catch me if you can. And he knocks it inside to JD. He knocks it inside to Lee Evans. Back to... And it was just so pedestrian.
For me,
I think you've been a bit harsh. I thought the last 15 minutes, that was the best we played all game.
We overcomplicate the simple, though, don't we? There was one, I don't know, there was a passage of play somewhere where one of the town players left it for someone else when he could have just passed it square. And I just think, why are you overcomplicating it? It goes there, it goes back, it goes over there, it goes back. Stick the ball in the bleeding box. It's too all for crying out loud.
But when you do, Matt, big Freddie Ladapo.
Well, KVY had the great header, didn't he? That the keeper made that was a great header from. I was up.
It wasn't as great. Well, I've seen it on the replay. It was a good save. It wasn't a great save. It was here. It's a goal. He should make it a good goalkeeper.
It's your fullback, isn't it? Like the better chance, the killer chance is Lee Evans' ball into the box, and your big striker, Big Fred. This is your moment. Just breathe on the ball, Big Fred. It's going to go in the back of the net.
And look, everyone's desperate for Freddie Ladapo to score, and I'm in that as well. I'm leading that fan club. But at the moment, he's making Joe Pigott look like bloody Ronaldo, isn't he? It's not working for him. Now, what is it? When we had our man come on from was it New York City, in the New York pod, wasn't it? The Rotherham one.
Yeah.
And we said, didn't we, mine? And I said to you, does this mean we're going to have a change of formation? Ladapo's going to be in a 2? Because that guy told us he plays in a 2. He can look lazy. He can look lethargic. He looks like he's not interested. And then he'll poach in the box, as Rich said yesterday to us on the WhatsApp. All his goals come from crosses in and around the penalty spot, the box, all that kind of stuff in the 6-yard box. He don't want to be playing in that 3, I don't think. He's not. He looks efficient. Look, what did Einstein say? Don't judge a goldfish by his ability to climb a tree. They'll forever think it's stupid. Now we think he's crap because he's playing in this 3. He probably don't want to be in the 3. He wants to be in the 2.
I really feel sorry for Big Fred. That's a great comment, Matt, because he maybe doesn't want to be playing in this system, or it's not a system that's tailored to him. But equally, the system, he is doing everything I believe the system requires him to do, except score that type of 6-yard goal. He works hard. He occupies the two centre halves. He works tremendously hard. He's pressing.
I think he's like Matt said, lethargic, lazy. I think he needs to work a whole lot harder.
Couldn't disagree
he doesn't
more.
Press.
I really couldn't.
He doesn't press, does he?
But that's what we were told we were getting. That's to be expected.
See, I disagree.
6 games so far, I'm massively underwhelmed. I said he'd get 17 goals. At the minute, he'd be lucky if he gets 7.
Well, a striker's always...
Caden Jackson proved more of a threat in 20 minutes than Ladapo did the whole game yesterday.
Yeah, but the issue was, Rich, in both boxes, because it was his man that scored the goal.
Who's man?
Caden's.
What, on the second goal?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Caden was on the pitch.
Jackson, yes, he was.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he at 2-1? Was he on?
Yeah, I'll show the clip in a minute.
Oh, he was on. Yeah, he was on.
I'm 99% sure it's
Caden.
Caden's gone. Caden's caught man watching.
They said it's the guy, like Kieran said, the guy who got the second goal. It was the blocker. He was the blocker, as they call him. Look, fantastic header. If that's one of our players, he nods one in from 14 yards and he's 5 foot nothing. It was a great header. But there was nowhere near him within about fucking 3 yards.
No, but it was. But no, I agree. KJ came on and did everything you wanted from a sub. He stretched them. He hurt them. The pacing behind is always going to be a really, at that point of the game, a tough one. But Big Fred, I disagree with you, and I will disagree to the cows come home with you. I do think he works really hard in the system. I think his physicality is mainly what I'm talking about in terms of his physical enough to keep two centre halves occupied that creates angles and space. Like yesterday, I'm thinking John Jules up top on his own. Would they have gobbled him up? Would he have been too lightweight for the twos? Because the two by centre halves, big old boys, strong tacklers. Would they have been a little bit too much for John Jules? Potentially.
I think what John Jules shows you that is a little bit more endeavour, which is how we scored that first goal at Shrewsbury, wasn't it? He actually come back deep, won the ball. Then goes on that, like as Rich said, that Thierry Henry kind of run. You can't see Ladapo doing that. But at the same time, what is the remit for Ladapo? We don't really know, do we? Is he supposed to be feeding on crosses that come in, scraps in the box? Because like we mentioned Donald Murin today, Rich, on the Talking Town Time Machine on the Discord. I remember him saying, if you don't give me the ball, I'm an athlete. I'm just being an athlete. I'm a runner. I ain't a footballer. He never really got to see the ball yesterday, other than the air shot he had in the second half.
All the goals he scored, like we say, for Rotherham, they're from crosses, from set pieces, from second balls. We don't get the ball in the box enough for him to do his damage. And when he did have his chance yesterday in front of the North Stand, he fluffed his lines because that was a golden chance.
Yeah, it was.
And on firing Freddie Ladapo there, Martin sticks that away and it's a goal. And the longer it goes without a goal, the more the noise gets louder. He'll know. He'll know that Town are looking probably to sign a striker by Thursday as well, Matt. You'd have thought.
He's bordering on Pigott territory. He's bordering on Pigott territory already. Once you get over this certain threshold, you're bollocks for the rest of the season, in my opinion. And he's getting close to it now. How do you come back from a goal drought? Bond couldn't do it, could he?
Well,
you
can.
That's a great point there.
You can. I'll come to that in a second. Just on Ladapo, before we get to the chat, I've got 3 people waiting. I'll bring in our YouTube or Ko-Fi members first, and then I'll run through the line. If you go and get on tonight, tomorrow night, I'm sure we could do something. Although I will be barbecued up. So
hang on. Is that why you got to leave early?
Yes,
get back to the show?
No, the F1 boy's been binned. I love you, Stephen Neal.
We're going to Wednesday, though. You told me.
Not this week. They won't.
Neil's
in Heathrow Wednesday.
He's not coming. They're on the Discord now.
Look at this. Neil's in Heathrow Wednesday, and I said, "You going on holiday?" He said, "No." It's a funny place to go. Just for a day out, isn't it? I know Heathrow, mini moon part 2. Right, Ladapo. What I was going to say was, you say he's better in a 2. If that's the case, is that a failure again at the boardroom level? Because if he's a striker you brought in and he's better in a 2, if you've got no other striker other than Caden Jackson to bring on at this point, and at no point, if the window is to close without another striker, or if a striker comes in, it's Macaulay Bond, the Z option. is it going to be? Is this the time the boardroom earns its money, Matt? Because if your main striker at the moment is best in the two, and you've got nobody else, you're in a little bit of a trouble.
Well, I was thinking yesterday when we were coming back on the train. I was thinking yesterday that performance has probably maybe accelerated the possibility of a new striker coming in pretty damn quick. I mean, maybe we'll see something Monday, Tuesday. Because we've said on here, haven't we, that the goals haven't been coming from the strikers. Then I think pre-Shrewsbury, and then we saw John Jules score that really great goal. Once hit Caden and gone in. Yeah, I think it's I think it's an issue at the moment because then there's pressure on the midfield to score, or your wing backs to score goals if your strikers aren't scoring. But Ladapo's not doing himself any favours. He's used to Michael Smith probably doing all the hard yards for him, or like the crosses come in, like Rich says, he nods it down, he follows it in, or whatever. He hasn't got that luxury at Town, which makes me think: did Ashton's dashboard have a virus on that day, particularly? I think, like, do you know what I mean?
It needs some 360.
He's putting information in.
Surely, when he comes in, right, and they're on the phone to his agent or whatever, they'll know what style Kieran McKenna plays. He's not coming with his eyes closed, is he? I don't know what Kieran's going to.
Yeah, what do you want from me? You're asking, what do you want? What do you want from me? That's why I thought it was going to be a 2. I thought it was nailed on for a 2 because the geezer plays in a 2. Suddenly he's gone. You're going to play in a 3. Oh,
I still refuse to believe a professional football player of his age is still you cannot play in a 1 and not a 2. I was saying that last night on the WhatsApp, and I say it again today. I refuse to believe a pro player cannot be a 1 or a 2. But
playing up front is totally different, Martin, and only certain people can do it.
But he's not. But it's absolutely. But it's completely different.
I tell you who'd fit in this team: a young, hungry, fit Daryl Murphy of back when Mick was here. He would thrive in this team. He'd get hold of that ball. He'd bully them. Ladapo doesn't bully the centre halves, Martin. They bully him. He lets them bully him. He needs to be a lot stronger. He needs to pin them defenders, hold that ball. But I don't think it's his game, Matt. I honestly don't think he's.
No.
I've got an interesting one here from Ben.
Which is what Lewis said, right? Imagine the joy we'd get with a player comfortable playing near the backs of the goal with runners off them, would pin teams in the backs in and create even more chances.
Ben Adams Friday, Matt, come out with a great comment when it was going crazy on the socials about Bond coming back, right? And bit of a sort of 50-50, wasn't it? A lot of people would say, yeah, come back, we'd take him. A lot of people know. Ben come out with a great comment about like the ambition, and like you say, Martin, if it was Bond, it's an F for Ashton, isn't it? Because like Ben says, this is a great quote from Ben. There's no room for sentiment in ambition. That's why it's fantastic.
Yeah,
brilliant. I said to him, I'll get it in, and I couldn't get it in yesterday's show, but I think that's great. And that'll show. This week will show me a lot of. If we go into the window shutting and we don't get a striker, I'm worried. I am worried because I said yesterday at full time, I think this team is a top class striker away, Matt, from winning this league.
And that's the word. Top class caliber. Not just a striker, Matt.
We've had all fucking summer to look for it. We've had all summer. I don't want to be going in 2 or 3 days before the window and then we're just scraping around at the bottom of the barrel and getting somebody in just because he's a number and he's a poddy.
Yeah, great. I mean, Alex said
we've had all summer to get this done, and we haven't got enough goals in the strikers. I know the goals are going to be spread out. I get that, but I still want a striker a centre forward's playing, Matt. Surely it's his job to score goals.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Alex said it yesterday, didn't he? On the full-time show, he said we could have signed Bon at the end of last season if we wanted to.
It's red
you are in the final knockings of the transfer window, and everyone's going, could be Bon. Which then Alex was right. Suggests that A, B, C, D options we couldn't get him over the line.
Look, if he comes back in, we'll all get behind him. If Bond was the guy to turn up, we would all get behind him. But
fans would talk themselves into the signing. And then you get behind him because he's in a blue shirt or a red and black shirt, so you'd be all for him. But let's drop the reality on it right now. He's Reg Varney 2.0 if he comes back in. You could have had him in July. You could have had a whole pre-season with him. Yeah. No, he is, Matt. He's not like he's
but which one turns up, right? Is it the geezer that was on fire and proud to play for his hometown club on loan, scores 10 goals in the first 2 months? Or are we getting the fella who couldn't hit a barn door for the remaining 7 months?
If it was the other way around, Matt, though, and he went 1 goal in 20 or whatever from August to November.
Yeah.
But then he went 13 goals from then till the end of the season. We'd have all been clamouring, get Bond back, get Bond back.
Context, isn't it? Yeah, because they came up at the beginning of the season. We've got short mind. We've got, our memories ain't that long. That's how it's how you finish the season. It's a marathon. How did he finish? Really poorly. Getting gone. Is what everyone was like. We was all chomping at the bit, weren't we? In August, September. Once that window opens at Christmas, get him in. Yeah, absolutely. But that's our prerogative, though. We're fickle fans.
But then it goes a little bit deeper than that. Let's just remove Bond from the conversation. It's not Bond, for example. It's a Matty Vidra, free agent, coming in.
You over that quality player.
Free agent at this point of the window. Is there anything that would give you a little bit of concern as to nobody's checked in?
Is he getting on a bit, Vidra? I mean, he's been Watford, Burnley.
Where hasn't he been around the West Midlands by the look of it? Like
West Brom. How fit would someone like that? You'd probably be taking 4 to 6 weeks for him to get up to speed.
Yeah, he's 30 years old right now.
30.
On his day, I think a very good player. But as Rich says, because he's a free agent as of right now, is there something that we don't know about? Is there something that clubs were put off about? Is it himself? Is he wanting to have a higher challenge in the Championship than a League One football team? Those reasons aside,
money
pre-season. But those reasons aside, pre-season wise, you'll hear the old cliches in the Evening Star. Didn't have a pre-season. He's 4 or 5 weeks behind the group. Well, that's not fucking good, is it?
Gary Denny, guys in the chat. Is Ladapo an upgrade from Bon or Pigott?
I doubt it. At this point, I will go on the record and say yes. And at the end of the season, I will want that check cashed.
Yeah, I think his record is probably suggests that. But so that's all in the past now, isn't it? What's happening in the present right now? At the moment, he doesn't look the striker that they had at Rotherham. And I think it's because he's not playing with Smith and he's playing in a formation that he hasn't played in for God knows how many years.
All right, we've had 36 minutes. We've got start of play. Ladapo, we've done Ladapo, I think. TJJ, Marcus Harness not starting. And anything else that you guys and girls want to talk about? Your show, your time, your words, unfiltered. After this very quick word from one of our partners, we will have Mr. Lee Anderson. If Stephen Parry's balanced, Lee's the king of all things equal.
Is Lee on the sofa or on the floor? What's the odds?
I think he'll be in the kitchen.
Last time I saw him, he was in the North Stand. Where will be from this point?
Ipswich Buses, your local bus company. Don't get stuck in traffic. Ditch the car. Go green. Go contactless. Go Ipswich Buses. Fares available from £2.20 return, a fantastic price and a fantastic service. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town.
Lee, how are you, my man?
Evening all. I'm not in the kitchen. I'm in the dining room.
Oh,
lovely.
I'm not on the floor. The wife's in the living room on the fire stick watching a film or something. I think.
Wonky stick, Lee. That's the wonky stick.
Yeah, the wonky stick. Yeah, the wonky stick.
The last time I saw you, Lee, you were in the North Stand, so I know you had a bird's eye view for the key moment. How'd you see it?
Hold on a minute. Lee, why didn't you come to the statue? Where were you? We don't come and see us anymore.
Well, I'm out before you. I got a bit further. Well, not as far as you travel, but we get to the game quite late. We're not there till about. I think we got there at 22-3, and there was nobody there when we went past.
And then
coming out, we have to get back to the car and stuff. So we have to get back for the dog. So I can't.
He's got to get back and sit in that traffic jam.
Yeah. So
how'd you see it?
I mean, really good debate tonight. I've been, really enjoyed it. I think I don't think you can say much more about the harness incident, can we? I mean, where I was, because I sit above the goal in the Sir Bobby Robson, to the goal's just to the right of me, just to the right. So I'm in that sort of second, third block, right on the edge. So I'm sort of in between the goal post and the 6-yard box, and he's running straight in at me, right in line with me, and I can't. I mean, there's a foot up and he hits him in the face, which I don't think you see from the camera angle. That's how I remember it.
That's the other defender. There was 2 defenders, weren't there? That's the other defender who puts the high foot.
Almost got sandwiched out. I think it was the defender on the left of him, the right, so the left as you look, tried to get his foot up to get the ball. And you know how it is, and we talk about sort of referee decisions and such like, but there was a passage of play, and that sort of not, it wasn't slow motion, but it must have been 3 seconds of play. And you generally know over that period of play when they all went for the ball, you have this sort of gut feeling that someone's gone wrong. There's been a foul, someone's pulled someone, and it just looked so natural. There was just guys going for the ball, 3 players going for the ball, and Harness wins the. Harness comes out on top, almost gets pulled down at the end, and
He's the one
slides
being
in.
fouled, Luke.
And-
He was the one. If anything, he was the one who got fouled. Honest.
Yeah, So I think with that bit where he falls over, I think it's just where the players are leaning. I don't think he's actually fouled. I think that's them sort of leaning on each other. But you would say, if anything, because he's out-muscled the defender, he's then lost his balance a bit because he's got nothing to lean on or sort of thing, and then he's gone down and he's just. I mean, what a finish to sweep the ball on a slide. And I'm not sure when the bit that gets me is when did the referee blow the whistle? There's no way he blew that whistle before the ball went in the net, and he had a second or so. So it's a real bizarre one, you know. And going back to what you were saying, Crunch, like the first minute where Chapman gets fouled, those sort of fouls sometimes, you know, you can sort of live with those. But that was a passage of play that lasted for more than a split second, and that's what really frustrates me. And I'm thinking, well, from the ref's angle, there must have been something that I couldn't see from my angle. But when you see the angle, the ref would have had the angle from the camera, but obviously a lot lower. So I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything with it. Okay. So, you know, and I was, So it's gut-run that way. So, you know, I think that I'm disappointed with the result because I think the performance was good. And what I mean by that is, apart from that sort of there was 5 minutes at after half time where they had us. Yeah. Then we settled back into the game, and then they had that spell before we scored. So pretty much what Quench was saying. Apart from that, we never looked in any jeopardy at all. And I know we've conceded 2 goals, but it weren't like Burton where like they were hammering us and we were holding on. We've completely, we've controlled the game. Yes, we haven't been dominant in the final third all the time, but you're sitting there comfortable in the game. If you're McKenna, you're thinking, we're not really going to concede here. We're looking okay. The chances will come. The game lasts. The other thing is the game lasts for 98, 101 minutes. That game wasn't it? 3 minutes at 3 minutes first half.
They're all about the same now, Lee. They're all about these games. Probably at the end of play, you're normally going to get a minimum, probably about 6 minutes in every game now.
Yeah. I'm sticking an extra hour on my car park ticket because you can't get out quick enough. But so the game goes on, and I listened to what you said, Richard, about Mick Mills, and I listened to Mick Mills on the way back yesterday, and he made some good points about the game and that. But the way I see it is, we don't look like we're always going to concede. Teams do not dominate us, regardless. Yes, we've got to be better in the final third. We've got to get those goals, but the game lasts for 101 minutes, 100 minutes, whatever it is, and we created those chances at the end, and that was a real bonus for me. The fact that we pinned them in. I think they were hanging on a little bit, but a shout out to Aluko when he came on, because he kept the ball so much to allow us to keep them penned in for those 8 minutes. Every time he got the ball, I'm sorry, Martin, every time he got the ball, he kept it. He did not give that ball away. They couldn't get it off him. To bring him on with 8 minutes to go, if that would have been a normal, I say normal player, that's obviously not what I'm saying. But had that been someone like Don Ball, for example, coming on, that's not his game. He wouldn't keep that. He wouldn't keep that ball like that, and he kept us in position. Pardon?
We ain't seen the geezer yet. We don't know.
No, well, we've seen him in pre-season. I've seen him on the wonky stick against Palace. He looks decent.
The old
he looks
wonky.
a decent player. He looks a decent player, and he's a hybrid of Morsey and Evans.
We'll see him
come in and do either.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. He'll play either role. He can come in for either of those two, and we, that's. I think we're cool with that, and that's going to be good. But the way we pressed them right at the very end and such like. But Wes Burns was at fault for the first goal. We didn't reset from the free kick. He's sitting in between 2 players. You always tell people, go mark the man closest to the goal. he should have been tighter to the guy who's headed the ball in. Leave the guy at the back.
Mine says JD on that goalie.
Pardon?
Mine says
I think
JD.
he's pushed it even. I think he's pushed it even further because I think the way they set for the free kick, that when the ball went out, obviously Burns had swung round into a position, but I don't think there was too much of a gap between Donacien and Burns. So Burns oversees that. So he says he calls JD back a couple of yards, or he sees the danger and he goes and sits in front of him and worry about the guy behind. Because
there's a similar goalie away at Morecambe. I went to Morecambe last year and they scored, and Wes was on the far post, and that was a little bit similar to.
I've just got the screenshot. I just got the screenshot. I just want to bring up the screenshot while we sort of digest it, if you like, because
who scores it then? The guy who's completely
in between.
The guy in the middle.
The guy in between Burns and Donacien.
So he's got to get round. He's got to get round there. You'd want your fullback to get round there, or whoever that is.
Well, but then who's Donacien actually marking? Because you've got your centre half holding the hand of the Barnsley player.
Yeah.
Donacien is caught ball watching. He's caught ball watching and trying to read a danger he thinks where the ball's going to be going. His man is behind him because Wes Burns' man is 5. That's who Wes Burns. You have to be. Gary Neville will say you have to take the inside man always.
Yeah.
But Donacien is caught where? Who?
Well, he's gone for the ball.
We have got the numerical advantage, but he has no need to.
No, what he does, because if you can look at that now.
If he drops off there, he heads the ball away.
He does, but if the ball's not dropping, if the ball's dropping a little bit short, then he's not covering the man who's behind the other Ipswich player couldn't see. So you've got to shuffle along. You remember, you're looking at the ball. You can't see what's going on behind you. You either need a shout or you need somebody to, if he sees the ball, he sees the pitch, he should move forward. But at the end of the day, it's one of those.
That's the actual second before shot of the header.
Even if the ball, if everyone had missed it, that geezer on the far left of the 6-yard box was all free. Who's that just in front of just inside?
You got Wolfie. We got Wolfie with Edmondson, who's. I mean, everyone's lost their man at this point.
Who's right next to Wolfenden there in the middle, just in the white boots? The Depot.
Well, number 9.
Yes, the Depot.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing nothing there, is he? Other than the ball might fall, he might get the second ball.
We don't reset from that set piece, do we, Lee?
The second point. Issue. Yeah, the second point is we've got 3. When the ball goes back out, we've got 3 players. We've got 3 players that are on the corner of the box. We don't go out and close the ball down enough. We allow them too easily to get that ball back in. We haven't gone to them enough. When it get that angle, when that goes out, you see them all go shift them back in. I don't think we've pressed the ball enough because I don't think it's this guy. It's that guy.
There, Martin. Have you?
That's not them 2 that crossed the ball, is it? It's the one third.
No. My point here from Lee is actually trying to back yourself up in the sense of if they move that ball quickly, we've got 5 players that are just marking grass. And last time I checked, grass can't score goals.
Yeah.
We've got 4 on 3.
Yeah, but grass can't score goals. Ladapo, Evans, Edmondson, and John Jules, or is that John Jules there? They're marking grass, Lee, and grass can't score goals.
No, but it's the second. The only thing I'll defend about it, if that was, the second goal was probably more of a shocker because it's direct from a corner. The first one, you're trying to reset from a second ball, and when you reset from second balls, you're never going to get 100% people in the right place because you've got the chaos in the pitch. You've got people trying to know where do we go, who do we mark. So the second one is more of a cardinal sin than the first one because we're set, and we're not set for the second one. But I've said before that heading is our biggest weakness. I think defensively and attacking.
In both boxes.
Exactly.
We talked about this. I think it was on last Sunday show, Martin, about we're not aggressive enough, Lee, in both boxes, attacking balls.
No, I think, but I mean, if we only concede from set plays this year, we're not doing too bad. I mean, we cannot not concede.
The thing is, though,
to the point.
The thing is, though, Lee, I actually think the blame of this lies with Lee Evans because he's the one who gave away the free kick with a needless handball.
But a lot of people are saying it wasn't a free kick.
It wasn't
100%. It was a free kick because I'm right in front of that. He handled it, and I was like,
he gets a little shove. Yeah, but You've got to do your job. Free kicks are given away, Matt, all day long in games. You've got to do your job. You can't blame Lee Evans for it.
He had no one around him, though, Rich. It was needless. He could have controlled the ball with his thigh. He used his hand.
I thought that was sort of one that he sort of his shoulder. He sent it, hit him on the shoulder. It looked like me. He had his arm. He didn't have his arm up. He didn't go like that, did he?
He had his hand on his knee.
Like that.
He had his hand on his knee.
Hang on. North Stand says no foul. Cobble Stand says no foul. The two West Standers split.
He had his hand on his knee.
Once again, proving the West Stand's the worst stand there is to be in, because you can't get a decent angle.
Well, this over there, you can't see anything.
If it's hit his hand, he didn't do it deliberately because it was close.
I think you're shovely. I think he gets a little shove in the back.
So if it's a free kick, it's a free kick. We've got to do better from it. But he didn't.
Emerson agree with me. It was handball. He needn't have done it. There was no danger there whatsoever. Control the ball with your fight.
I don't think he reacted. I don't think he had time to react. That's just my. I've not seen the replay of any of it. That's just my view of that.
Lee,
on that.
Striker wise, before I bring in Lion O, Ladapo at the moment.
I said
on the big fresh day.
Yeah, so I said 10 games, didn't I? And I've got to stick to 10 games. So he didn't have his best game on this weekend. He's done all right. He had his chance. I'm looking down on that, and it's just feet of just the mechanics of his feet have just been that he's not done that. And a striker in a rich vein of form that's got everything going for him, he shins that in or something. Yeah. So that was his only chance. I'll be more concerned if he's missing loads. My view is if we play two up top as a two, then we're not going to control the game as we do. And I would rather keep the ball for 68%, restrict them to balls into our box from set pieces, than for us to be caught on the counter and hit differently. I just think that it's down for the two to get around the depot, the two inside forwards, to get around him better. Now, if we can bring in a striker that does that single role better than the depot, then so be it. But I think we have to accept whoever comes in or doesn't come in, we are not playing two up top. We're not going to play two up top because McKenna will not. We didn't play it under Man United. He doesn't play it under Man United. I mean, I said this right at the start of the season before when he came in. We're going to play like Man U, and Man U do not play with two centre forwards. The game has moved. The game has moved on from that. Whether or not we agree with it or not, I think as you come down the leagues, teams might have to play that because of the standard of footballer that there is. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that football has to be slightly different, and some teams need to play it two up top because they realise that the opposition is better than them. We can't pass through them, so we've got to be a bit more direct. But we're not that team, are we? We're 68% possession first half, and we didn't play. We said we didn't play well.
Yeah.
So
you make a really good point, Ellie, about getting players around Ladapo. Look at the goal we're talking about, Harness, from the flick on from Jackson, and he gets ahead of him, and he's in there.
Yeah, because he's run round, hasn't he, and come through the middle. But if you look at the first half, I mean, sitting behind the goal, I mean, we all see we all get a different view of the game. But when you look at it, you've got, we take a goal kick. We've got Burns out on the right wing with Chaplin almost standing next to him. And then on the left wing, you've got the same. So actually, when the ball goes into Ladapo, he's actually 1-on-1. Now, if you put another striker in with him, that's going to be 2-on-2. When the ball goes into Ladapo, he's still playing against his central striker. He's not playing against two. He's just playing against one. So regardless of whether he's got one round him or two round him, he's still got to win that ball in the same way. I think goal scoring, I tend to agree. He might sort of, if you've got a pivot striker that's the focal point who holds the line, Ladapo is probably good at coming off the line to pick up that second ball. But I think with the way we play, he hasn't got that luxury in the box because he's got to hold that line. So he doesn't pull off the that back line and sit in that little bit of space, 6-yard box penalty spot because he's that frontline striker. But hopefully we'll get someone in. I think we'll have two come in.
I hope so.
I do. And going back to this point you said about getting him in early, we're not on free transfers here. If we're after somebody, somebody that we're going to pay money for, that club doesn't want to release until they've got someone in. I think there's someone lined up. I'll be amazed if McKenna says, look, we need another striker in Ashton. We haven't got someone lined up, and we're just waiting for the merry-go-round of the transfer window to sort that out. That's just my view. And it was funny, Crunch, because I messaged you, didn't I, before the game, saying someone in the crowd, someone in the crowd behind me. Yeah, there's someone behind me, and he says, the guy who sits next to me is a really good bloke. He knows these two guys. He's done work for him, and they've come over and spoke to him, and they seemed in the know, and they're going, "Oh yeah, Bond's a done deal, and Bond's signing. It's all done and dusted." So I thought, I'll just let India, in the know.
Okay.
So I messaged him, and he messaged me back and said, "Bond's on the bench for QPR." So I just turned around the bloke and said, "Bond's on the bench for QPR." And he, shut up, sort of thing. So it was quite funny, but I just thought I'd make that on. But if we were getting Bond, we would already have him, and I don't think he fits the profile.
Yeah,
if he comes in, I'll support him to the end of the earth because he's in a Town shirt, and I'd love him because he's one of our players. But I don't think he's the profile because he would be here.
All right, Lee.
Or if he isn't, he's not top of the list. We've got 3-4 players ahead of him.
I've got to give you
if he does
credit,
come in.
Lee, you said, didn't you, at the start of the season, we are light years ahead of what we were this time last year.
Oh, absolutely.
It's borne out, hasn't it? The fact that we're now second, aren't we? But
yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see a table from when McKenna took over and add on the points we've got now to see where we'd be in the league. I think we just need to chill out. We're not going to win every week. Of course, we can debate the game and pick up things that we could have done differently and such like. But we've got tougher tests to come. Of course, we have. But this is different. I know Colin was on here the other night, almost in tears and stuff, and it does get you. When you've seen it, and I think the older you get and what you've seen the glory days, I think you get maybe a bit more passionate about it. And I don't mean I'm not passionate. I think it just gets you a little bit more.
Emotional.
You've seen a great club in a demise.
Yeah.
Well, you're taking his time up today, Lee. So I reckon he's probably going to be a bit after you next time he sees you.
He will, but. Yeah, it's different. It is different, and
it is. Yeah.
If we're not top,
are you telling us or convincing yourself there, Lee? Because it coming across a little bit like you're trying to convince yourself to me that it is different.
No, I'm 100%. No, if we don't finish top 6, it's because we've had a horrendous run of injuries and such. Like we've got back, and I've got stuff to support it because McKenna, second half of the season, top 6, and we're doing better now. I mean, we're just different. We're just better, and he's brought in players that have improved us. We've gone on, haven't we? I mean, look at Norwood. I mean, I was his biggest fan, if anything. Okay, but we've moved on, and you can see why he's not at the club, and what he's brought in is different. I mean, John Gills was fantastic. I thought first half, individually, he's strong, he's powerful, he doesn't get bullied. And he's something different. And I'm not trying to convince myself, Martin, because there is no way on this earth that we are not finishing in the top 6. You can pin it and you do what you want with that.
Is that good enough? Is it a striker away from finishing? I think it's a striker away from finishing top 2 at the minute.
I think an informed striker. I think that would. I think too another forward player. And the reason I say this, and Mills mentioned it. About the size of the squad, but we're playing. We've got 5 subs to use. We've got a bench of 7. I think, apart from Humphreys, Keogh, and Ball was injured. Keogh's come in late. We've played everybody. Everybody's contributed already. After 6, I can't think of anyone else apart from the goalkeeper. Who else hasn't?
No, absolutely. You're spot on.
I don't know who else hasn't contributed. We pick up an injury in midfield, one at the front, and we can't rotate the forwards like we did. If we've got the money, I think we'll have a bigger. I think there's 2. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's got to be the right 2, not just for numbers, because we'll try to carry on with injuries. But if we stay relatively injury free, there is no doubt. You can pin it. We can rehearse it. Bring it back in May. There is no way on earth that this team will not finish in the top 6. Absolutely no way.
Lee, I will hold you to that, my man. Look after yourself. Keep watching.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers, Lionel, you've heard everything said tonight. I've got the still shot of the second goal. I've watched it for
5, 6, 7 times. I still haven't got a clue really who's at fault. The only person I can pull out is Janoy Danashian is marking Grass. And as I just said a second ago, Grass doesn't score goals. Before I press play and move it on a little bit, who from your memory, from being there live, was your particular, oh no, he's let him go?
I can't work it out from memory. I think just looking at that, I've seen it play back on YouTube. Looking from that screenshot, I would say our man-to-man marking is not good in that screenshot.
Good. No.
I would say the guy who had it, I think
It's not man-to-man. It's zonal. We mark zonal, don't we, Martin?
This is man-to-man.
I'm not a fan of zonal marking. I would say watching Match of the Day over the years, whenever they profile zonal marking, whenever they give an example of zonal marking, it's because of poor defending.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. And that header that he scored yesterday for the second goal, I was absolutely flabbergasted when that went in. I thought, what the hell's just happened?
Well,
it's the number 4 he scored, isn't it?
I'm saying in real time, I thought to myself, it's a completely free header. What's going on? I'm saying that's our weakness at the moment that we haven't sorted out from last season is defending set pieces, unfortunately. And
you'd be right. And looking at that screenshot, I first thought, Lion, I thought it was man, but I actually think Richard's right, which is why he's got the run of the 18-yard box. Because
if you listen to Kieran, he said that's Styles, Matt. He's the blocker.
Well, that's the anti.
And
that's the anti, then, isn't it? To a zonal mark. And this is what you're seeing now. Zonal teams that went zonally are now seeing the anti-venom. This is what beats you, because what happens here is they all rush into the zones and leaves 4 in no man, just waiting for the ball, basically.
I've got to say, I said to the guys around me, I said I'm nervous about this call. Now, there were so many red shirts in there, all packed in, and then of course, then they spray out like bullets, don't they, as the ball comes in? I wouldn't have thought the 5'6" player wouldn't have to leave the ground to score the goal. Do you know what I mean? That's really frustrating for everyone.
Would you be tempted to put a kind of plasma on the line there, Lion? I'm a big believer in front and back post man markers.
I think on that evidence yesterday, absolutely yes. I'm saying, a player on the far post, near post, whatever. I'm going to say that ball's not going in the back of net if we had a player on the back post. That's for damn sure. But I just want to quickly mention what you guys were covering earlier on in the chat. About the referee earlier, and I'm a former referee myself. I did it for 8 years, and I don't like talking about referees, but yesterday he was utter crap. He really was. And just mentioning about the fact that Matt said that he's refereed more than 100 odd games in Championship, it doesn't matter at that level. Okay, yes, you're right. The referees who get demoted down to Leagues 1 and 2 probably would have had a poor week the week before, which is why teams like us get referees who have not had a not so good week.
And
I totally agree with what Ken has said yesterday, because when I came away from the ground yesterday, I thought to myself, I wasn't feeling disappointed about the result, because I know for a fact that we scored at least 3 goals yesterday. And one of them, just unfortunately, was unfairly ruled out. I mean, so we can talk about this. The referees ruled it out for I don't know what, by the way, really don't. Although I was sat at the other end of the ground and I didn't actually have a clear view as to why he ruled it out. Now I'm, seeing it play back in the highlights, there wasn't, I'm saying, a pull, a tug on his shirt. I'm saying if there was a pull or a tug on his shirt, there really wasn't much of a pull or a tug on anyone's shirt. I mean, so he was sandwiched effectively between the two. So he was up against it. I mean, obviously I think the referee in his decision making is probably given the defenders the benefit of the doubt in my mind as to why he's given that, because I can't really see much of an infringement there, if I'm being honest.
What happened to giving the striker the benefit of the doubt, though?
Well, I'm going to say, I just want to point out another 2 or 3 things from earlier. Okay, so the referee, I think, when one of the Barnsley players went down in Town's area, I think in the second half, right, the goalkeeper, he kicked it out, didn't he? Up into what was the Britannia stand.
Yeah.
Okay. What did the referee restart with, Rich?
He give it to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he started with a drop ball with the goalkeeper. Why?
Yeah.
It should have been an Ipswich throw, and he didn't. And in the first half, Leif Davis down on the byline, right in front of where I was sitting at the Sir Ralph Ramsey end. Leif Davis, he gets fouled just inside the 18 area, and the referee gives the bloody goal kick. It was a penalty. The whole of the lower end, the whole of the Sir Ralph Ramsey at that moment jumped up in uproar, and the referee gave a fucking goal kick. The referee was utter crap yesterday, and coming from me, it's like I'm animated by it, and I'm pissed off because we should have 3 points. We've only got 1. Okay, I didn't feel disappointed coming away from the ground, yesterday, but I mean, just on here, it kind of just.
Should have come on the show after the game yesterday. You really should have done. Yeah. Let me cheer you up with some free agent strikers. Hal Robson-Kanu, would you fancy him?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, good player.
I would. And I want to say, right, Ladapo, he will score goals because if you look at last season, last season when he was on that goal scoring streak in the first half of the season, he was doing, magnificently well. When McKenna came in, he just went flat. I don't think Bon is the striker that McKenna favours. I really don't. And I think that I don't think Bon would thrive with the system that McKenna has been playing since January with that one up front, like Lee was saying. I don't think Bon is the answer. I'm still praying that Hurst comes in, but he probably
played one up front under Paul Cook when Bon was playing.
But there was just.
Yeah, but 13 goals.
I think it's just the way that McKenna has got us playing, from the back. Okay, it is a bit risque, and there was a couple of heart and mouths moments yesterday which I didn't like. But I mean, for me, Paul Cook was a very tack-minded manager. He was more rush than what McKenna's style of play is. McKenna's style of play is more reserved. It's much more control with our possession and passing. Now, yesterday, for quite a fair amount of time yesterday, our passing wasn't great. We kept the ball, we gave the ball away as much as Barnsley did at roughly the same times of the game. But I'm saying we were, pretty much fully in control of the game yesterday. And I'm saying, I hate to say this, but I know it's only been 6 games, but our away record was better than our home record, which maybe something McKenna needs to address. I don't know, but
then you played MK, Bolton, and Barnsley at home.
At home, yeah. But when you look at our other away games, we've had effectively easier fixtures.
Yeah.
Now, so your away form should be better than your home form at this point.
Okay, all right. Okay, point conceded. But I'm going to say when we play Wednesday, Plymouth and Portsmouth, for me, that's going to be the real test.
Oh, that's the real test.
I agree. I mean, I think that Wilkes that Wednesday signed has now got an injury. And he's out for a few weeks.
Well, is he really? I
think so. I think I saw an article late yesterday saying that he was out for a few weeks or something.
Lee said top 6 without a shadow of a doubt.
No, I'm saying.
Line.
I don't think Lee should be concerned about the top 6. The top 6 is not even a thing with me. Town really needs to be pushing for a top 2.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Really I'm saying for me, on my mind, it's top 2. I can picture us in the top 2 with what Colin Plum said the other week, almost in tears about it. There's just something about McKenna, just something about us this season that the confidence and the belief is there. And if we keep playing, if we keep scoring the amount of goals that we are at the moment, we're averaging 2 goals a game, more than 2 points a game too. Promotion form, early days, I know it is, but if we can keep this up for a long time, we are going to be pretty much there for most of the season. It's the momentum. Now is the momentum. If we keep that momentum flowing, roughly 2 points a game, we're going to be about there. And that's why I think Town really should be pushing for a top. I think
you're being too kind there. If you've got a championship wage bill, which we've got, you should be demanding top 2.
Absolutely.
If we finish 3rd to 6th, that's a failure for me this season. We are paying massive wages. We took Harness away from a championship club and beat them on wages for him to play in League One. If you cannot maximise that potential,
I've got the table here, Matt. Since Kieran McKenna took over, I just sent it to you on WhatsApp, Martin.
Yeah.
So we'd sit 3rd at the minute. Sheffield Wednesday be top, Matt. 30 games, 61 points. MK Dons 58. Town 55, but played a
Yeah,
game
but
less.
but MK Dons is not the same team this season. You know, they're a team that's lost their quality and is now on a bit of a.
I wouldn't write them off.
No, I'm not writing them off, but I think on paper, when you look at our home games, the first few home games of this season, you look at Bolton, MK Dons, and Barnsley on paper, tough 3 games because you would. I'm gonna say before the season started, you'd have thought those 3 would be pushing for a top 6, if not top 2. So we've played those 3 at home. We've not lost to them. Yeah. I can personally see us going to Wednesday now and getting a good result against them.
All right, Lion.
The way that we're playing.
You change your names every time you come on. Kids to keep me guessing.
It depends on what T-shirt I'm wearing.
Love it. Look after yourself. Thanks for your comments. Again tonight, and don't forget the conversation will continue on the Talking Town community Discord. There'll be a live voice after party.
Everyone's tuning into my cricket show.
Sorry.
Even Matt might watch this week.
Sorry, I mean everybody's going to be tuning into Talking Cricket, but if cricket is not your thing, there is a voice after party that Leando is the bouncer of. He will check IDs and check you're wearing shoes, not trainers, at the door.
You can get in the club now wearing trainers. Don't worry about that.
You ever put socks over your trainers?
Over your trainers?
Yeah, we used to do that all the time. Yeah,
to get in the nightclub?
Yeah, we used to do it all the time.
Where did you go? Duke's Genesis.
Yeah,
that's quite.
They make it's in flats now. Sad time.
Brandon Carter, the guy who's got more holidays than the Queen, going into the donate, which is great cause. If Ipswich don't announce a signing by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, I'll donate £20. If we do, I'll still donate 5 or 10. We'll do more. We just got back from Venice. See, more holidays than the Queen of England.
Under the thumb, that boy.
Rich got cash yesterday, didn't he, from a few people?
So we are now up to 1,670.
Wow. It's brilliant.
We are at 9 o'clock. Live. This is not the 9 o'clock news. Don't worry. This is 9 o'clock. And your headlines today are fucking inflation everywhere. Bouncy Castle over here. Right. I've got Colin waiting. We love Colin, but Colin is a 7-night-a-week man. He could come on tomorrow night's show. I know he could.
I've only got 15 minutes now, and I need to have a little freshen up.
So tomorrow night, right? Okie dokie. Colin, tomorrow, your time.
On the cricket show, Colin, if he wants to come on the cricket show.
Come on the cricket show and tell him all about Marcus Harness.
I've got 2 things I want to quickly discuss before we go and talk cricket. Keogh. Where's that guy? He's been in the club 3 weeks. Where is he? Have you seen him? Has anyone seen him?
Tuesday night. You will see him Tuesday night against Northampton.
He's semi-retired, him. He's here on a retirement plan to be a coach next season.
You know all about that, wouldn't you? Well, in your line
Secondly,
of work.
I went into the shop yesterday to look at the black kit. Why have we got black kit when we've got red and black stripes already? Why do we need a third kit? Me and Rich were saying, when are you going to wear the black kit?
Because this isn't what it's all about.
I think look, I think it's a really cool kit. I might contemplate buying the shirt. But when you consider like what life is right now, post-pandemic, energy crisis, you can't put petrol in your bloody car. And it just now needs selling you a £50 third strip because it's been designed by Ed Sheeran. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth a little bit.
So I thought I was talking for a minute. Then I was trying to work out where I'd left my body. I thought that sounded like me.
They're not forcing anyone to buy it.
No, but
I piss off. Piss off. You stick a town badge on a cow pattern, and people will feel compelled to buy it because it's their football club.
I'll smell it.
You would buy it. And you don't even pretend you wouldn't. You'd buy it and frame it, knowing you. I think
it looks really good. I think it's a really cool kit. The blackout.
When you're shelling out that money, you need the numbers that you get on your shirt. They have to stay on your shirt, Planet Blue. There was me yesterday. I had to go and fucking queue up for about 20 minutes. The biggest queue ever.
Didn't have to.
Well, I did because my number was falling off my shirt after wearing it about 3 times.
Right, you don't have to
stand there, Matt. I had to stand there shirtless. while they put it in the old press, and I did say to this old couple, I was having a great chat to them. No pictures, please. No pictures. No
wonder the old Bill turned up with the Blues and Twos.
That was because there was a bit of trouble after the game. That was.
I hear.
It's a cool looking kit, and I do feel like the fact that Sheeran's designed it himself is probably they're looking at a market beyond Ipswich fans. You know, people that buy Ed Sheeran's album and all that. And I feel like if you've bought the home and away like Richard already has, I mean, you should get that as a discount or something. But why do we need a third kit? I don't know. It just feels a little bit of a money grab to me.
I'd agree. And you could easily come out and say this is our third kit for 3 years. So it's going to be, if you buy it now, you're not having to buy. Because so what are we now? What is this precedent we're now setting? 3 kits every year?
What exactly? When are you even going to wear? Look, you've already got red and black stripes. When are you going to wear all black?
Well, I think you will wear a third kit once or twice, just because you've probably got
Someone
to.
says Crystal Palace away in the cup.
There you go. We're not in any cups long enough. Don't worry about it, mate. We're like tea bags in and out of the cup.
I think it's a really good kit, but I just think the timing's rubbish. Because if people here will feel obliged, they want to get it. I've got to get it. It's an Ipswich Town shirt. I've got to get it. Can they afford it is another matter. But I don't know. In the present climate, I just feel it's a bit shit.
But I'll tell you one thing you can afford. Talking Town YouTube membership starting from $4.99. You get access to the Discord. You get access to more rants like that. Don't let that put you off, though, because you do get access to Rich.
You won't get into my barbecue, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Well, apparently, if you donate over 500 quid, you can come to the barbecue. But that's the last I heard.
Jeremy is still badgering me now. Jeremy, can I come to your barbecue? No, the mic is not live. Sorry.
Absolutely love Jeremy. He raised so much money from his little barbecue, and I've got so much respect for that. Anyone that raises money for anything, such as yourself, I have so much respect.
Can we just touch on the minute's applause yesterday, which
brilliant.
We promoted on here, and I thought Barnsley fans, management, all their staff, I thought it was absolutely magnificent, Martin.
Yeah, I did.
I really did.
I agree, and I was really a little bit. Walton was clapping, Morsey was clapping, and I'm thinking, referee, you've stopped for a water break.
It was a good timing, wasn't it?
Just lose your whistle.
A little bit, and then he
just lose your whistle for 60 seconds.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do. Just lose your whistle. Like,
those Barnsley fans were different classes. They were all in on the 10 minutes, and we know they promoted that themselves on their social media.
Yep.
Mm.
And then the little lads came round at half time. Were they under 9s? Just signed up to Ipswich. They came past the Barnsley fans. They all got up and clapped them. I just saw different class. That brilliant. Fair play to them.
Yeah, it was sad after the game. There's a little bit of trouble, but I did see it on the socials. I did see it on the social. And I think this is a good point. I think sometimes, Matt, they're going to have to hold the away fans behind after a game because they're literally letting them out straight into Portman Road in what we got 25,000 yesterday, Martin. You know, emotions are running high after games of football. You know, Coxey, who come on yesterday, Matt, the Barnsley fan who I'm mates with, he came out and an Ipswich fan just barged into him. And I mean, it is pathetic.
We saw there was literally about 8 police vans and combination of cars up by the station. They looked like they'd got some kid locally.
I'm going to sound like my dad. I can see him.
I don't think it was Barnsley fans was the trouble after the game. So,
it was. There's a video. There's a scrap. I've seen. It's on the socials. Yeah.
It goes much deeper than football. It's a general indictment of society at the moment, in my opinion. And I sound like my dad when I say this, but it's how bad standards in this country have become when you barge into somebody for wearing a different coloured jumper, or you get incidences after a game of football where it ended 2-2. No Mason. It wasn't an FA Cup final. It wasn't like you've been relegated by your nearest rivals. Barnsley are hundreds of miles away from Ipswich. It's not like it's a Norwich, Ipswich. And even that really is a little bit silly because you call each other scum on a Sunday afternoon, then Monday morning it's hello, Mike, cup of tea? Yes, please, Dave. And it's like...
They've donated to Rich's cause for the disability team.
You know what I mean? I just think it's... And you look at the videos... You could almost paint the picture of the people going to be involved before you've even seen the videos. You know, do you know what I mean? It's just a general indictment. And I sound so old all of a sudden.
Well, people are stupid these days, aren't they? That's the issue.
But you can say goodbye to the away fans getting any closer to the North Stand in your lifetime because while these things carry on.
I never had someone leap over and try to get to the bar. Did you see that fan yesterday, Matt? After about 5 minutes, in the corner. Did you not see it in the corner by Sir Alf?
No.
Tried to climb over that little wall that they've built to get to the Barnsley fan. He got hauled out. See you later. 5 minutes into the game. I mean, what are you doing?
Was he a Town fan or a Barnsley fan?
I think he was a Town fan. He was a Town fan.
Because we were trying to work that out. Then when everyone reacted with applause, we all thought it was Barnsley fan.
No,
obviously,
he's a Town fan.
I mean, there's children there, isn't there?
When you've got 25,001 people there, and even though they support the same team as you, there's a good chance they're going to be an idiot. That's the issue you've got, isn't it? But it's a huge thousands.
But not on the Talking Town Discord because they're all community members. They're all people who support the platform, and you don't need to support the platform if you've got the head on the shoulders, the brains between the ears. So if you've not yet done so, support it through Ko-Fi or become a YouTube member from $4.99. You can't even buy a bag of bog roll for $4.99 these days. Great value. The wife today was saying $4.99. Have you got inflation rates? I said no. She said you should do. It's at least 30% more than it was when you said it.
How much is toilet roll these days then?
Well, if you want to go Charmaine, if you want to go like Cushnell, if you want to go with a little padded stuff, stuff that treats your bum like you're a king.
Do you remember tracing paper when you're at school?
Yeah, do you remember that?
If you want to go for a bit of bark, just nip outside. It's fine.
I'm hoping Rich has got good toilet roll, just in case.
You're not letting a cable in my fucking toilets. No way. You're not coming around into shit.
We're going from this to the cricket show, so stay tuned.
Anyway, can I give a quick shout out to me ticket?
You're like fucking Colin. One more thing. One more thing.
Just shout out. So we got
trying to end the show, man.
The ticket giveaway is now. It's a double header. This is Matt.
Is it?
So for Cambridge and Bristol Rovers, there's only going to be one winner. One winner. You're going to get 2 games. You got your Saturday Cambridge. Wow. It's going to be a massive game, isn't it, Cambridge? It's going to be you're a sellout. Brilliant. Bristol Rovers on the Tuesday. Joey Barton's mob coming down. I've got 26 already in the draw.
Double bubble. You get 2 games this time.
In the draw. So if you want to be at Portman Road for these 2 games, it's going to be a 6-point Saturday, Tuesday. We're going to smash Cambridge, and then we're going to smash their gas.
We are. And I believe Ginny and her boy really enjoyed
time.
The game. It's
good view of Chaplin's goal. I think literally you're just to the right of the goal. So where Connor Chaplin popped it straight in the top corner, you'd have had a great view there.
Yeah, we've got this little thing going on all of a sudden where Rich is the meet and greet team, and I'm the aftercare. Like they turn up and they're like, Rich is nowhere to be seen. And I'm like, don't worry, I can take it from you.
Just got to get the kids back to the car before I come over because they don't want to come and stand over and be bored.
Well, they might bring some more intelligent views than you do. They might actually have something decent to say.
There you go.
Anyway, where we going wrong for all these years? Anyway. Right, he's the cruncher. He's here for the hard truth. This is Matty Phipps. He enjoyed. What did you have for the Chinese, by the way? Oh, duck. You said.
I told you.
Give it the big one. We don't want to go for that again.
D1. We went with D1 on the menu.
D1. Well, we're not in first anymore. We are in second. But coming up next is Talking Cricket, and they're always in.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. Oh, yes, you make me happy.
But between me and you, they're not in first because Talking Knockouts beat them.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. Oh, yes, you make me happy. I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Oh, yes, I woke up all soaked in sweat. Chills running down my neck. I felt went crazy from just the thought of you.